Hey guys, welcome back to the next part of our series. Today we're going to continue with the alien, with the military support thing. Again, part of our story. There's still a lot of things that we're missing from the pants, a couple of extra elements that I want to add. But yeah, if you take a look at one of the reference images that I added to your chapter folders, here we go. You can see that the shirt is a very simple shirt. It's just a typical shirt. It has a couple of more like folds, I think. It's like lighter, I would say. And but yeah, it's a very typical shirt. So that's why I'm kind of binding this chapter with the belt as well. We're gonna be working on the belt. Whoops, there we go. So for the shirt, it really makes no sense to start from scratch if we can just grab this guy right here and add it to our character. So hit OK, and there we go. We can definitely use our attachment points as we've used so many times before. And we're just gonna start adding it to the attachment points. There we go. Yeah, everything seems to be nice. So I'm gonna grab both of the back pieces, just bring them back. And technically, again, if we simulate, things should work fairly nicely. A little bit of overlap here on the shirt. I think we can just like get it out there. There we go. Cool. So I definitely want this shirt to be tucked in inside of the pants, and we already again know how to do that. It's just a matter of grabbing this shirt. Let's move it up. I'm gonna grab the whole pants here. Let's turn off simulation. And on the layer, let's change this to layer 1. So now when we hit simulate, bloop, the shirt's gonna go inside of the pants, and we're gonna get some more wrinkles as well. Now he was very fit. If you remember from the original concept, he was very fit. So why not add just a little bit of a seam line here on the inside? I don't want to do a princess dart, of course. That would look a little bit weird. But we can definitely add just like a point there. And a point here on the back. And just create a small dart. Just a small dart so that the shirt fits a little bit like nicer. I know that probably in boot camp, people or soldiers don't get this benefit of having like a nice fitted shirt. But this is our character, so we can do a little bit of this. And that's going to again help us with the overall tone of the character. Now since he's wearing this sort of like winter clothes, we might want to have like a white shirt or like a gray shirt. So I'm gonna go again into our fabrics, and let's look for just like a cotton, basic cotton fabric. I'm also taking a look at the pictures to see the amount of like deformation that we're getting, because I do want this to be like this one, like a little bit more, not as like this one has a little bit of spandex. I like that. So just double click, and there we go. Cotton stretch sateen. Just grab all of this, guys, and apply. It's gonna change the way it looks a little bit. It shouldn't be that much of a change, but it might be just a little bit. Now I do want to add a border on the sleeves. I know again on the reference, like we really don't have that, except maybe on the color, but I think it would look nice. And again, you're always, especially when you're working on your own projects, you're always free to do cool things for your own character. So I'm gonna go to the sections here, the top section and the back section. Right click, and we're gonna offset as internal line. And 5 millimeters seems to be a good amount. Maybe it's a little bit too little. It looks very thin. Let's go offset this internal line. Let's do 10 millimeters. There we go. That's a lot better. So yeah, as you can see, it's not going to the edge. That's not something that we want. So we're gonna extend trim to pattern outline. Let's make sure that we have the same thing on both sides. Okay, yeah, it's on both sides. Now I'm gonna cut the seam lines. So cut and sew. Oh, they're not. So oh, there you go. It's almost there. So again, extend trim and add point to pattern outline. There we go. And now we should be able to cut and sew. There we go. And select this, guys. Cut and sew. And this one's cut and sew. Cool. Definitely need more geometry, so I'm gonna grab well, maybe not on this ones. I'm gonna grab both of them, all of them. Right click, and we're gonna say layer clone over. There we go. And then on these new ones, I'm gonna reduce the particle distance to like 5, because these are the ones that we're gonna be seeing, right? So now when we simulate, we're gonna see like a puffy neck there on the top, like a color. And again, using the little trick that we did before, we can add a little bit of shrink weft or shrinkage weft here by increasing it. So let's go to 110, and that's gonna give us a couple of extra wrinkles. Could give us a couple of extra wrinkles. We need to lower the particle distance even more, because we're talking about like really, really thin fabrics. Like the amount of triangles that we have might not be enough. So let's go all the way down to 2. Yeah, even then, I think that's like way too small. But it's good. It's good enough for what we want. Now, I definitely don't want my center seam line. That's like way too weird for me. So especially for a shirt, so I'm gonna right click and merge. And we're gonna do the same here. And of course here. Since they're not linked, we need to grab both. There we go. Let's go to the back. I also want to merge these two guys. I also want to merge those two guys. And since these are not linked, we need to grab both of them and merge. There we go. Now, when we simulate, there we go. This seems to be like split. It seems like we lost the connection. That's fine. Let's just delete it and do it again. So let's go into patterns, grab the pattern and the pattern, right click, layer clone over. Those guys again. Let's bring this all the way down to 5 and 105. Maybe let's try. Oh, let's try something bigger. I know this is gonna like really crunch them, but maybe we'll get something nice. Nah, not really. And the problem is that it's such a small line. It's gonna be a little bit difficult. Anyway, so let's go to the arms, and we're gonna grab these two lines. Right click, offset this internal line, 10 millimeters as well. Make sure we right click and extend trim and add point to pattern outline. Very important. We grab that line and we're gonna cut and sew. Boom. We got both of them. Grab them. I'm gonna bring them down, and then I'm gonna right click, layer clone over, and place them over the patterns. I mean, as long as they're in an easily readable position, it should be fine. Like, no need to be like super perfect about it. Grab both of those. Let's increase the particle distance or decrease the particle distance again to like 5. 105. And now we're gonna have a nice like outline there on the border of our shirt. So again, I know that it's not something that we might find on the official like army shirts, but it looks cool. Now we're gonna grab this guys, of course, all of this guys, and we're gonna change the particle distance down to probably like a 10, just to get a couple more wrinkles. There we go. So very form-fitting, very cool wrinkles all over the place. Cool. So the shirt is ready, the pants are ready. Let's grab everything here, bring back the layer to 0 so that we don't get any like weird lines. And let's create some space here. So for instance, the shirt, let's move it to the side, like there. I want to see it right now. And the pants, same thing. Let's move it to the side like this, because I want to see the silhouette. And now we're going to do the belt. So there's a lot of ways to do the belt, but we're just gonna recycle what we have right here. So we already have the belt, this piece right here and this piece right here. So I'm just gonna say Control-C, Control-B, copy this right here. Well, actually, we're gonna have to do that for all of the patterns. So let's select a pattern piece, that one, that one, that one, and that one. Control-C, Control-B, and that's gonna be my belt. Now this belt is gonna be made out of something like a little bit stiffer. It's not. I don't think it's gonna be cotton. So, I know that they don't use leather. Let me see if they have something like nylon. Yeah, there we go. See that? That's a lot stiffer. So let's use the nylon. And on the nylon canvas, let's change the texture. Well, let's see if we can. Yeah, I'm gonna delete the texture there. Or no, color. Here we go. Color. Let's make this like a dark gray. We're gonna grab our belt and apply the nylon color. There we go. So as you can see, we're gonna have some nice, interesting texture there. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna combine this element right here. I'm gonna merge it. So let's go into segments. merge. Merge. It should be a straight line, but we know, again, due to curvature and stuff, that's not going to be a straight line. Doesn't matter. It's still going to work the way we want this to work. Let's position this thing where it's going to be. It's going to be on top of everything else, like right about there. The layer, let's change this layer to 1. So this sits on top. And what I'm going to do is here on this view right here, I am going to change the, well, first let's change the thickness here. Let's display like thick texture here. And let's change the texture. How thick is a belt? Like 5 millimeters? Yeah, I think 5 millimeter looks good. Maybe a little bit too much. Let's do 3 millimeters. There we go. And what we can do is we can start sewing the different segments back to where they belong, right? So just go here. And we start on this area. So let's go with, we can use segment sewing. I can sew that there, 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 and of course this guy to the back. Oh, it's overlapping. Okay, so it's already there. Now when we simulate, we're gonna get the belt on top. Okay, so just going around, holding the cloth together, a little bit of overlap here and there. That's fine. That's the kind of stuff that we want to bake into our normal maps if we're doing this for like a game and stuff. So I'm not too worried about those things. Now what I do see on the belts, and pretty much everyone knows about this, are the little like loopholes, right? The loopholes through which the belts go. Now for the buckle, by the way, I do believe we have some hardware here. Yeah, we have some. So we have this buckle right here. That's the only buckle we have, unfortunately. Let's see, we have... No, that's the only... You can just model one and instead of Maya or other places and do it. Of course, we're not going to be doing patterns and stuff for a buckle, but we can do the little like square pieces. So again, we already know like roughly the distance. It's 50.3 apparently. So we're going to go here to the rectangles. It should be a little bit bigger. So we can just... Let's click and let's say height, we're gonna have 52. And wide, it's probably gonna be just like 20 millimeters or something. That's a little bit too much even. Like 10 millimeters. 12 millimeters looks a little bit better. There we go. So yeah, that's my loop. So the only thing I need to do is I need to Control C, Control R, like duplicate this to, like, let's say this place right here. Both of them are gonna share the same like military pattern that we have, and usually this guys. Let me see if we have the reference here. They also have a little bit of like a sewing line on the outside or along the whole thing. So I'm just gonna right click and we're gonna offset this internal line. It's gonna be just like 1 millimeter probably, or like 2 millimeters maybe. Not 2, it's way too much. So let's do 1 millimeter. Hit OK. It's gonna be like a super small effect. Well, before we do that, it will be a nice and wise idea to select these two guys and say symmetric pattern of sewing. Now we can do the offset this internal line, 1 millimeter. There we go. Both of them should have it. And we're gonna grab this guy and we're just gonna free sew this thing, like the top part, to like this area right here. And the bottom part to like this area right here. And the layers, of course, like now, again, we can select this guy right here, bring the layer back to 0 because we already know that this thing is going to be on the bottom. Grab these two guys and change their layers. Remember to select the outer edge. Oh. So we select a pattern and the layer is going to be 1. Simulate. These little things, we're going to travel all the way down there. There we go. Now, I do think they're a little bit... Oh, the shirt got out. We might need to do a little bit of layer adjustment. I mean, it's super simple. So Let's grab the layer. This is gonna be layer 1. The shirt's gonna be layer 0. Sorry. And then the pants, except for the little loops here, are gonna be layer 1. The belt's gonna be layer 2, and this guy's will be layer 3. So this guy's gonna be layer 2. And now again, if we simulate, the shirt should be going in. I'm not sure if the shirt's not long enough. Huh, it's kind of weird. We can bring the shirt back, but that's fine. It's a small little detail. Now, one thing I'm noticing though is that the no, they're actually in the really close to the place, but we need more, right? And of course, these are really tiny and in like geometry. So let's grab the element and bring this down to like a 10. So we have a little bit more geometry, and when we simulate, there's enough curvature to create a little effect. Now, one thing I'm noticing though, as you can see, the sewing line is going. I mean, it does look like when there's a little bit of a gap there, it's very noticeable at a distance. But if you want, you can sew it like higher. That might be another option. But for now, I'm just gonna leave it like that. We're also gonna add some thickness as well. So now I'm gonna grab one of this, Control C, Control B. We're gonna have one on the side. Oh. Sorry, let's grab the external line, Control C, Control B. There we go. So we're gonna have one on the side, and then Control C, Control B. We're gonna have one on the back. Now both of them, we're gonna have symmetrical patterns as well. So Control C, Control R, like this. So this guy's gonna be like about there, and this guy is gonna be. Oh, it's a problem with working with super small patterns. There we go. So this one and this one are gonna be symmetric pattern with sewings, and this one are gonna be symmetric pattern with sewings as well. Cool. So again, free sewing. We're gonna sew the top part of this element. Again, this is the belt, so maybe if we go a little bit higher, like to this area right here, it will look a little bit better. Let's try that again. So from there to there, from there to there, from there to there. This one has to be like, let's go down here to the pants instead of the belt. There we go. Let's do the same thing here. So top, 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 bottom, 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 bottom. There we go. Since we copied them, they should have the same like number 3 layer. So if we simulate, oh, sorry, they're way too far away. But yeah, there we go. So as you can see, we get their little straps where they're supposed to go. Yeah, some of them are having a little bit of an issue, like this one's got stuck the wrong way, so just like stitch them together. There we go. There we go. The shirt went a little bit crazy, but it's fine. That's how we add some belt loops to the whole thing. Let's stop the simulation. And finally, to make them look, of course, a lot better, we're just going to grab all of them. And we're going to say right click, layer clone over. And that's going to puff them out. And since we have the internal lines are going to give us that nice sort of like sewn effect there on the inside. We can also increase the particle distance as well. My simulation, as you can see, is getting a little bit slower and slower. It's kind of like part of the process. So yeah, I'm just going to stop it right now. You can change to the GPU mode. We've talked about that one before. I don't think it's needed, right? So there we go. Now, one thing that we can do, since now everything is supposed to be on its place, we can just grab all of those guys, set the layer to 1, and then grab my shirt and set the layer to 0. That's fine. And let's try to simulate again. Let's see if that, there we go. So you can see the the shirt is going back to its place, like underneath the pants. So there we go. That's behaving a lot better than what we, or a lot closer to what we want. Just stop the simulation, and there we go. Our pants are looking quite nice. Now we can grab everything again and just bring the layer back to 0 so that we don't see any blue lines. Let's turn off our avatar for just a second, and look at that. Not bad, right? Not freaking bad. A nice easy shirt, that's an easy one, and then the pants right here. And as you can see, it's not a lot of time. We've been working on this for about an hour, I would say, and we're already in a really good position. So I'm gonna stop the video right here, guys, and in the next one we're gonna be talking about the knee pads. So hang on tight, and I'll see you back on the next one. Bye bye.